Now we are going to start the second part of our story. So if you look at the top here, go ahead and we're starting at the word 10. 10 minutes later, the girl was still there, and 15 minutes after that. Becca was afraid that the girl's mom would ask her what she was doing. Finally, Becca glanced down at the girl, whose little head poked out from under the table like a turtle's. You have to hand it to her, Becca thought. She certainly is determined. Has it been sold yet? The girl asked in a squeaky voice. No, Becca said. Behind the bangs, the girl's eyes were hopeful. Becca suddenly thought of herself a few months ago, wanting to stay in their home so much that she would have cheerfully lived in a muddy hole in their yard if it meant not moving. Sometimes, Becca realized, life had a way of reminding you of bigger things than stuffed bunnies. Look, Becca said, why don't I drop the price to $1 and you can have a little left over? Really? I can have it? Sure. Becca handed her the bunny. Thank you, the girl said, and ran her hands over the bunny's purple fur. Becca watched the girl talking to the bunny while walking towards her mother. Becca found a label and wrote 50 cents. Then she tied the label to the yo-yo and waited for the next customer. Okay. At this point, you have two other questions that you're going to be answering. Question 2 says, recount the big parts of the story, the yard sale. When recounting, remember to include important story elements, for example, character, setting, and problem. Include important details from across the story, leave out unimportant parts, and keep your summary a half page or less. So they're asking you to summarize in question 2. Now you can tell here, there's no room for you to write your answer. So Mrs. Covey created a paper for you so you have room to write your answer. So look, you see a number 2 here. That matches the number 2 here for your question. So what you're going to do is you're going to write your answer for number 2 right here. Now, you might realize you might not have enough space. If that's the case, all you have to do is flip it to the back and you can continue writing your answer. Okay. Now, question 3 is asking you to reread the last 2 sentences of the story. So line 73 and 74. So 73 and 74 says, Becca found a label and wrote 50 cents. Then she tied the label to the yo-yo and waited for the next customer. Why do you think the author decided to end the story this way? So that's the question you're answering right here for number 3. Is why do you think the author decided to end the story this way? Now, these are things to remember when you're answering the question. Tell when an author does something that stands out and explain why the author may have written it that way. So why did they decide to end the story the way they did? This is where you're going to write your answer. Up here, remember, this is where you're going to summarize what happened. Remember, you're going to start from the beginning, move to the middle, and the end, telling the most important parts of the story. Okay, go ahead and get started, and good luck.